Pledger short on the three. John Butler, Bharat Ramnanan, and Charles Rubia are our three officials for tonight's contest. First quarter scoreboard brought to you by Central Kia. Spurs play at a very controlled pace. 5 on the shot clock, and the jumper is knocked down by Caddy Lillane. And the Spurs start the scoring. They rule it a 3. It will be
constant for the Legends, even during this 4-game losing streak. The unselfish point guard who still goes and gets you 20 and 30 points in a game.
You mentioned Lillane's size as the tallest player on the court right now for the Spurs. Caddy Lillane checks in at just 6'9". Johnson spinning to the free throw line. Back rims it, but Lillane the offensive board. Second chance, he gets it to go.
Overseas teams would like to give some money to and drag them away too. And Texas Legends are about as close as you get to the NBA dream without actually realizing it.
He's spent time playing overseas. He's been there and done that. It's the NBA game that's evaded him so far. Sykes misses the three-point attempt, and here's Pledger. One of the newest Legends, but no longer the newest. Trying to take it.
Literally to acquire Cam Griffin, we made a call to his agent. He was in the available player pool, and within a matter of 24 hours, he was on his way to physicals at the doctor's office and to put on a Legends uniform for shoot-around this morning. So, pretty easy process. If he's in the available player pool, it takes 24 hours or less to activate a player.
But beyond that, you can make trades, as the Legends did when they brought Manny Harris here from the Defenders.
Physicals at the doctor's office and to put on a Legends uniform for shoot-around this morning. So, pretty easy process. If he's in the available player pool, it takes 24 hours or less to activate a player.
But beyond that, you can make trades, as the Legends did when they brought Manny Harris here from the Defenders. A deal that really worked out well for the time he was here and worked out well for him as he used Texas as a springboard to get his overseas deal. You're in for RJ Choppy tonight, who's he's not vacationing and, working at the Super Bowl anymore, but now he's vacationing at Fan Bowl tonight in Dallas with 105.3 The Fan.
I'll be there later. Stop on by. Thomas, heel on the line, and he knocks down the straightaway Jay.
Yeah, that party's at Dave & Buster's in Dallas, by the way, and it's paper football, which is really just an
Ashley
tournament. I think there's, what is it, $22,000 prize?
$2,500.
2 straight times down the floor offensively for Texas. They've gone with flow, that Rick Carlisle borrowed concept, and it's kind of been a version of a pick and roll. Neither time has it worked out.
Ashley protecting the rim. Johnson, short on the three. Ashley with the rebound.
Ashley.
Johnson, short on the three. Ashley with the rebound.
Ashley was the only guy to do anything on the boards last night.
Here's a 3-ball, and it comes up short.
Also, Jesse Holley of 105.3 The Fan, the former Cowboy receiver. He's in the house tonight with a big group, about 20 folks, and our man Tony Fisher celebrating his
comeback with them leading by 3.
He's in the house tonight with a big group, about 20 folks, and our man Tony Fisher celebrating his
comeback with them leading by 3. There was a bucket knocked down by Caddy Lillane earlier in the game. They ruled it a 3 initially, reviewed, and it is now a 2-point bucket. So that works out for the Legends. Thomas hoists up a 3. He's short, almost followed up and thrown down there by Julian Washburn, but he's unable to convert. Oh, man. Legends are leading by 6. We didn't get to say this at all last night as they lost by 56.
And if you start gauging points in the paint at this early stage, thumbs up, and thumbs up for Texas.
The Spurs with 7 on the shot clock, meticulously developing their offense, and it's intercepted by Holloway. Trying to take it coast to coast, right-handed land, goaltending, and one must acknowledge the supreme being before being able to hold public off. And not done on that illegal defensive play. Legends shooting 73% or just about early on.
And that's layups.
Defense creating some offense right there, Fish.
Well, and if you do film study, and I know Tu Holloway does, you get a sense of what Austin's trying to do. And so you can kind of anticipate passing lanes, and that's what he did on that last offensive thrust. And so you can kind of anticipate passing lanes, and that's what he did on that last offensive thrust.
Wilson, 3-ball. It is illegal to milk another person's cow, but it is not illegal to drain a 3 like Jameel Wilson. Legends up 8. And right back, another 3 hit by Caddy Lalane, who's got 10 early points for the Spurs, pacing the way for them.
And they've done this week a little bit more than usual. Tu doesn't always bring the ball up the floor. He carries such a load here that they'll spread that burden out and then get it across half court, and then he'll initiate the offense.
Thomas. Washburn left all alone, and he knocks down the trifecta. We are even at 21 thanks to the long ball for the Spurs. 7 on the shot clock. Ashley working on Lalane, taking it to him, and he can't get it to go, and a foul called as Ashley collides with...
Not loving the bastardization of the game that way, but the Spurs are one of the best teams and one of the first teams to take full advantage of everything that can be done with the three-pointer, including the shorter corner 3.
The corner, and he's leading the Legends tonight, now with 11, thanks to that free throw.
Don't think I haven't attended a million kid soccer games while reading the morning newspaper and cutting up orange slices.
Were you the team parent that would provide the orange slices after the game?
I was that kind of guy, yeah.
Ndoye with the right hand, hooking it in off the window.
I don't know that he could do that again.
Kind of looked like he just threw it up there. Dimitri McCamey into the game for the first time.
I'll argue that if you're trying to value every possession, Tu would probably like that one back.
Ndoye elbow, back rim, and right with the rebound. Fresh 24 for the Spurs. They play at the slowest pace in the D-League. 96 possessions per 48 minutes.
But not plodding, it's methodical. There you see one of the few
crowd on hand.
Victory because actual game 1. So the Legends, if they want to call this a rivalry, could certainly use a victory tonight to help legitimize that competition.
Yeah, let's not make it losing 14 out of 16, shall we? By the way, you mentioned the Mavs Maniacs, who in addition to being lovely and talented and being a riot, we did our party at the Maverick Bar, our 1-year anniversary party with 105 through the Fan, and Maniacs really dare steal. Too risque.
I've seen some try to emulate, but it's just not the same.
Not quite.
No, the Mavs Maniacs, I remember I was at the very first game they debuted, and it was a riot. McCamey and Parks Jr. hip to hip. McCamey stays on his feet, and he finishes with a layup.
Parks is sliding along the floor and looking at the referee at the same time.
He's pulling himself up a little bit.
Boy, what a crafty feed from Tu.
Noah Sykes, 5'11", competing in the dunk contest, and we see the athleticism, and more than that, we see the explosiveness when he takes it to the hoop. I really like Kiefer Sykes' game. Thomas has it stripped away. Wilson's got it. Holloway lines up for a 3, hits the 3.
Wilson is no dummy. We've been yelling this at these games for 5 years. When I say we, I mean me. Find a guard when there's a break opportunity. And so many times, a guy, because he's been able to be a good ball handler at every level. If you're a 6'9" guy, you were a good ball handler in high school, almost certainly. So a lot of guys, they want to take it up themselves, but boy, Wilson was basketball genius right there. Find Tu Holloway, let him handle it. What at one time was a 20-2 run for Austin, and the two were on free throws. A lot of credit will go to been a little zone, been a little man, and been a little more physical too. You see Tu Holloway getting knocked around there and getting caught for it.
Thomas can't finish after receiving the ball in the short corner. Here come the Legends after a stop. Into their secondary off.
He sucks the defense with him, and Wilson, who sets a high screen, is wide open at the three-point line on the perimeter.
Nick Johnson with the basketball, 10 on the shot clock. Ndoye in traffic, and he gets fouled. Just barreling down the lane. And
he has 4 double-doubles this year.
The blowing of the whistle, and so the bucket would count.
And I don't deal in hypotheticals.
There you go. That was a good cover-up. I didn't know either. I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. McCamey, 10 on the shot clock, down low to Thomas. He's doubled. Wilson coming over to help Pledger, and it leads to a turnover. 2-on-1. Miller, left-handed layup off the feed from Holloway, and it's a three-point game, Fish.
That's twice now that Holloway has read the direction of the Austin offense and played that passing lane beautifully.
Yeah, Pledger with the nice steal, getting it up to Holloway, who dished it to Miller. 9 on the shot clock. Nick Johnson around it in Ndoye, screen. 3 on the shot clock. Thomas open, corner jumper, and he's short on it. Here committed by the Spurs. Murray, Pledger to tie, and he can't get it to go. Stephen Pledger tonight from behind the arc is struggling again, 1 of 4.
I'm going to argue, by the way, that those 10 turnovers aren't just committed by the Spurs.
Forced by the Legends.
Yeah, I really think that.
Miller to a trailing Wilson. Not a made bucket, technically not transition, but getting the ball up the floor quickly, that works to their advantage.
And then uncontested layups, uncontested buckets. Something that's really been a problem here this week for him in its absence.
It's a 1-point game. Murray with the deflection. Holloway secures the steal. And he's fouled by McCamey. And with 1:56 to go, we're going to step. And we've got an offensive foul setting it back the other way. Lane swinging it to Washburn. Three-pointer for the lead, and he hits it. Quickly up ahead, Holloway. Cut off by Sykes, backing him back up. He's short on the 3.
Get 5 men back now. 35 seconds left in the half.
Legends looking for a defensive stop to keep this a 1-possession game. 9 on the shot clock. Thomas to Lane. Rejected by Wilson. Big time defense there from the Marquette product.
Up there.
The lob. Ashley fought away. Oh, just out. Bill Russell so good at blocking shots to teammates, not just sending it 7 rows into the crowd when he had the ability not to.
And that dopey RJ Choppy and I argue about this all the time. He says, yeah, but what about the great momentum lift you get from slapping it into the 12th row?
If you believe in that sort of thing.
Well, Choppy will be back here.
It's a missed opportunity to put 2 points on the board. Lane off the glass, can't get it to go. Thomas, second chance, blocked. Legends with the ball, pushing the tempo. Holloway, nice look-away pass, but Murray's shot's blocked from behind. Washburn directs it off course. And Lane right down the heart of the lane with the bucket, and Nick Van Exel wanted a timeout. They didn't acknowledge it, and it almost resulted in a transition bucket for Teray Murray.
He had. Wilson follows up Holloway, both of them with some really clever passes.
Johnson, Thomas, Ashley on his back. Big Ten versus Pac-12, and Big Ten wins out as the former Buckeye gets the little baby hook over the former Wildcat. Arizona Wildcats.
There's only one Buckeye.
Ashley rattles it home. That one from three-point land, and it cuts the Spurs lead at half.
If you want to measure the desire of Nick Van Exel to get this game and get the 4-game losing streak behind them and get up in the standings at Austin. He's even
technical foul called. Johnson knocks down the free throw.
Yeah. Now,
we encourage you to get interactive with us here on the broadcast by tweeting questions to the Texas Legends Twitter account at Texas Legends. We got a question from Danny Fish, and Danny wants to know, Brandon Ashley made the D-League Prospect Watch. What does he bring to an NBA roster?
Well, he's got to get older. He is a baby. He's just a kid.
And a loss, it could mean playoff positioning. It could mean just getting into the playoffs. Looking at their schedule, their final home game, April 1st against the Oklahoma City Blue. And they'll close out their season against these very Austin Spurs in Austin the very next day. Legends coming out of the timeout in a zone, getting a stop on the first effort, but the Spurs will get a second chance with the rebound knock. Legends coming out of the timeout in a zone, getting a stop on the first effort, but the Spurs will get a second chance with the rebound knocked out of bounds off.
Years I've obviously grown to know Texas Legends folks pretty well. They pour their hearts into this thing. This staff is incredibly talented, and the work ethic is unmatched. And to have not just the players, but to have everybody involved in this organization, ethic is unmatched. And to have not just the players, but to have everybody involved in this organization
is a tough assignment against arguably the best rebounding team in the D-League based on certain metrics, and rebounding allowing the Spurs to keep possession here. Thomas, a skip pass. McCamey fakes. Johnson into the lane. Craftily getting his way to the cup, and on a second effort on this particular possession, he finishes. 3-ball, and he rattles it home.
And Choppy he's the kind of guy that would walk him. He would wear it every day. And show it off.
I guess if you got it, flaunt it, right?
And let kids and women try it on.
He'll sit at a booth, and for a kiss on the cheek, you can try on the ring, right? Sykes with a little English, but Thomas puts it back with the left hand. I couldn't quite tell, and I mean this honestly, if he was lamenting with those on the Spurs bench that the referees just weren't making consistent calls, or if he was maybe telling those on the Spurs bench to quiet down. It's time for their silent, their reading voices, their library voices. Thomas, left hand to the cup. Deshaun Thomas with 12 points. Wilson straight Van Exel or any D-League coach.
Yeah, you're saying if I can hit in the AA level in baseball in Southern California, I can hit in the AA level in South Carolina.
Well, listen, if you get called up from AA to AAA, when you step in the box, you know that you're just going to do what you've been doing for a long time. But when you get called from the Mongolian League to the Legends, you've got to know what they do on offense. You got to know the flow offense. You got to know set plays. You got to know the flow offense. You got to know set plays. You got to learn defensive philosophies. You got to know strengths and weaknesses of your teammate, if you're a point guard especially. As Miller up and under, a crafty finish. There are a lot of components that go into this, and later on we'll get Travis Blakely's thoughts. He's getting moved around because he was stealing someone else's seat. We'll let him get settled. He's sitting in his spot. Travis, your thoughts, obviously you're involved in the adding and subtracting of players.
Lack of practice
around because he was stealing someone else's seat. We'll let him get settled. He's sitting in his spot. Travis, your thoughts, obviously you're involved in the adding and subtracting of players.
Lack of practice times this time of year in the season leads to pretty much film and shoot-around opportunities to get guys caught up, and it just doesn't always translate immediately to game action. So, you know, hats off to Stephen Pledger, who...
Get it, Travis. Now, Sean Thomas on the line for the Spurs. And switchable because his ability to guard multiple positions on defense and fill a variety of roles offensively, and the Legends have seen Jamil Wilson have that type of an impact this year. 17 points and 8 rebounds for Wilson tonight to go along with 3 assists after making both those free throws. Washburn backing down Griffin and short on the fall away, but Thomas the offensive rebound. Second chance, can't get it to go.
Well, Thomas is the champ.
Yes, he thinks he is and really believes that he's a much better guy than people give him credit for, and that people are maybe hanging on to that one incident a little too long. and it's unfairly labeled him as perhaps a bad guy or somewhat of a risk.
Almost without prompting, Nick Van Exel, coach of the Legends, tells us he hasn't given me 1 second of issues. He's been all about Tu Holloway, all about doing the and you can't give me that shot. Not from what we've seen out of Pledger.
Pledger now 2 of 5 from behind the arc tonight. 1-point game. 90 seconds to go in the third quarter.
This is your Bob Ortigal close the quarter strong moment right here.
Lillane has it poked away. Griffin pulling it out. Pledger, he's feeling it. Taken to the hoop, into the hoop. Tried to drop it off, but no one was there. Spurs in transition and a smart foul by Tu Holloway. Had he not done that, it would have been an easy Holloway. Pledger on the back of Lillane. Baseline spin. Drops it off. And Ndoye with the finish. Nice little block-to-block combination there.
Looked designed, didn't it?
I doubt they'll heave one up early for a 2-for-1, but with an 8-second difference, game clock to shot clock, they'll milk it for all it's worth. And it's really no different than any other possession. They like to work late into the shot clock.
Need to stop here, reminiscent of what you did in the last 7 minutes of the second quarter, a time that really turned this game around.
Sykes, 14-footer, off the iron, parks the board, and the Legends can hold for 1. 5 on the clock.
Over to you.
Thanks, Travis. Thanks, Coach. Fourth quarter underway. Washburn, corner 3. Offline, but a second chance opportunity created by the Lillane rebound. And Ndoye working with Wilson on his back. A lot of contact, and the whistle blows.
By the way, regarding the zone defense, Coach is right about it in his discussion with Travis Blakely. But a smart team, and Austin is that, can find holes in it, seams in it.
Seems like the zone defense can work in spurts, but it can't work over the course of a game at this level. McCamey with a hand in his face sinks the 3.
Yeah, for one thing, because I can shoot over it. I can also go get...
Lays it in with his left.
It's unorthodox, but the Legends are benefiting from little Patrick Wilson doing inside work. Patrick Miller, I'm sorry.
Nick Carlisle, Patrick Wilson.
And then, what did we do the other night? When I was doing Travis Frederick on the sideline, remember that one?
If you get the last name Cuban, you probably have a push. How do the D-League playoffs work?
Well, after all those compliments, I'm tickled pink over here, Coach.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, Jared, if you would repeat that question. You guys were breaking up on me a little bit.
Roberta wants to know, with the Legends making a playoff push, how exactly do the D-League playoffs work?
Oh, well, it's a unique situation because only 4 teams from each division, or each conference rather, the East and the West, are selected. Right now, the
Legends chasing the Austin Spurs, who, if the season would end today, would hold one of the 2 automatic spots in the Western Conference. The Legends essentially fighting for a wild card spot. Lillane rocking to the hoop. Thomas, 1 on the shot clock, and he gets the baseline jumper.
He's the troublemaker, and you've got to stick with him. He sets a screen high, then goes to the right side, sets another. Thomas now, 23. He's setting screens, but he's not just being an offensive lineman. It's to get him the ball.
Ashley in the lane.
And Nick Van Exel is living about the Ashley call.
Loose ball, who's going to get it? Holloway gets dirty, but unfortunately not rewarded. But you love playing nearly 35 minutes leading the team.
About the Ashley call.
Loose ball, who's going to get it? Holloway gets dirty, but unfortunately not rewarded. But you love playing nearly 35 minutes leading the team. 22 points for Holloway, leading the team as well.
That was almost a secondary break off a baseline inbounds, full court.
As Wilson knocks it down, 4-point game.
And in that 4-game streak, no singular pattern. Maybe you lost on the road because Michael Eric had the high ankle sprain. Then you lost in double overtime to Iowa. Then you lost by 1,000,000 points last night. There is not a singular problem. And that in itself is a whole other problem.
Lane gets fouled. Now, one of the challenges for the
defender against you as the former guy was against you. And maybe these Spurs could do some of that as well with this group. And maybe that's one of the reasons our record is as good as it is.
3-point game. Johnson with 10 on the clock. Around to Thomas screen. Yeah. Rolling, spinning, laying it in.
Are you sick of me saying it? That's the guy.
I think Nick Van Exel is probably sick of thinking about it. Pledger, 3-ball. He hits it. It's a 2-point game, Fish, with everything that has seemingly worked in favor of the Spurs. Yeah. The Legends are hanging around.
Watch 23 now.
He's got the ball and gives it up, but here he comes, setting a screen.
He's going to get it back.
And he passes it to no one. And with 5:59 to go, we'll have a break in the action.
You've milked all you're going to milk out of the newcomer Griffin tonight.
Spalding on his feet, able to scoop it in. Can't get the free throw, though, and that elusive lead remains just that, elusive.
Yeah, if the category is can you muscle your way to the basket as a little guy, relatively, yeah, he can muscle.
Turnover, traveling. 5:32 to go, and if the Legends could take the lead, they're just dying.
Not their responsibility to pump you up.
Pledger for the lead.
It's your responsibility to do that, and it boomerangs back to you.
Legends up by 3. First lead since they were ahead 21-18. Sykes, corner 3, and we are tied back up. Nick Van Exel wanted a 3 seconds. Tell you what, Fish, this is more fun than losing by 56, I'll tell you that.
Well, this looks like a team that thinks we really do deserve to be in the playoffs. Let's work to get there.
Sykes, back rim. Thomas keeps it alive. There's Sykes in the lane, and he gets it to go. That's 22 for Kiefer Sykes. And that came against Idaho. He's got 19 with that, and the Legends back out to a 3-point lead. Johnson to Thomas. 10 on the shot clock. Lane, corner 3, and we're tied. Caddy Lane with points, 20-20. Legends, timeout Austin.
To Holloway show.
The Legends are led in scoring by Jameel Wilson with 25, to Holloway with 22, and then it's Miller with 19. Spurs with the ball out of the timeout. Johnson and Wilson collide, and a block is called on the moving Wilson as he was bulldozed.
Yeah, initially I thought that he may have been hit in a sensitive spot, but he's holding his left wrist, left hand.
Well, he is a right-handed player for whatever that's worth. And he's going to stay in the ball game.
Yeah, if you can, you see him in the center of the floor underneath the basket. He's not doing much with his left arm.
Sykes, an open 3, but he's short. Murray the rebound. The Legends can make this, and the scoop!
Well, there's been a handful of times tonight when Pledger, who by reputation is a 3-point marksman, has taken it to the hole. A big benefit for the Legends. Now up 5.
They finished 3rd in career 3-pointers at OU, but he's done it inside the 3-point line tonight. He's got 18 points for the Legends.
Austin sneaks baseline there. That's a no-no.
58.
Now this time, Jameel Wilson says, I'll take it myself. I'll do my regular role. Did you see that?
Miller. Spinning, and the mid-range J. Wilson set the screen, but Miller did the dirty work down low. Nice bounce pass from Johnson to Lalane, but Lalane couldn't hang. And with 80 ticks left, the Legends lead by 4. And it looks like Pledger and Wilson are arguing. I think Wilson's won. Wilson.
How fast can you get 66 seconds off your clock?
Johnson to Sykes with 10 on the clock, and we got a foul. Miller got a little handsy with Sykes. Or can you get these seconds off the clock? Well, nothing's moving, and he does. It's worth noting the Spurs, the second best three-point shooting team in the league. We'll see what they do here. Johnson attacking, kicking. Washburn almost loses it. Corner three, Thomas is short. Johnson the rebound. What do we have? It's out of bounds, and it's going to be off the Legends.
Texas foul basket.
Turned into a little bit more. We'll see how the Spurs take advantage of it. They're down 3, but they don't have to get a 3. Lalane, pressured by Pledger. And he drops it off, no one there, but Johnson gets the deflection. Sykes, Thomas for the tie. Short, Johnson with the putback in and out, and he puts it back in a foul. A third effort.